St Kilda pulls its season out of the fire. The lost lion in Brisbane's attack. And the Giants' bogeyman comes back to haunt Collingwood. All that and more to come from the round so far, brought to you by AAMI. But Kane Corns, we've got to start at Marvel Stadium today. St Kilda on the ropes. They've saved their season 2-2.
Oh, were they on the ropes or what? 33 points down at one stage during this game. This is the final stages where Jack Darling had a moment to get the Eagles back in touch, but it was just St Kilda's ferocity. I thought their effort from their small forwards to get them back into form this year. There's Jack Steele, the skipper, who was just enormous. His numbers today, 33, 17 of those contested after he guaranteed an effort and they would hold each other to account. Well, they did just that with the way that they went about it. Not just the win, but the way they applied themselves against a very good side today.
Brett Ratton said last week they were embarrassed. They had the big soul-searching session during the week. And as you mentioned, 33 points down during this game. We'll go back to that very moment. Everything from here, though, they brought the effort. And in that last quarter, 25 tackles alone. They had 32 for the whole game last week.
Exactly right, and that's just a huge number. I mean, it just goes to show how big a week is in football and how different it can be if your mindset is there. Look at this from Brad Crouch, not known for his defensive action. Well, that's as fast as he has ever run defensively. Caused a turnover there on Liam Ryan. And Adam Simpson, the Premiership coach from West Coast, just said, look, they rattled us. We were rattled, we fumbled. We made poor decisions. We couldn't get the ball out of our defensive 50.
How can this change so much in a week?
It was all because of this. Footballers are proud. Playing at home against a good side, you know if you lose this with the couple of games you got coming up against Richmond or Port Adelaide for the Saints, you lose the season over. So they dug deep when things were going against them, and it was on pure will and pure effort. Still made some mistakes today, the St Kilda Footy Club, but their fans can live with that, provided they bring that intensity and effort. Look, it's difficult to do every week, but so impressive and probably the win of the round so far.
Brad Crouch, 12 tackles, as you mentioned. Bradley Hill back in form, 26, had 560 metres game. But we've been waiting for a breakout game from this man, Max King. He's our Saturday star. Kane, he was marking everything in attack.
Yeah, he's going to kick 10 one day because he gets his hands to so many balls like that and just drops it at the last moment. But his athleticism and just when he runs and flies at the ball like this, you almost can't stop it. 200 centimetres, his agility, his speed, and his work rate was outstanding. And at times I had to put Barath to him. At one stage when he looked to be kicked free in the first quarter, they put McGovern to him. And just this sort of stuff, bursting through packs with that speed. Now, he doesn't kick this one, but that's a sign of what he can do. So 5 goals, career best for him. And it's not going to last for long because, as I said, one day he's going to kick a huge bag. He'll probably kick double figures soon.
The Eagles looked so good last week against Port. They had 16 inside 50s for the whole second half. What went wrong?
Well, they couldn't win it at the stoppage. Like Nitnat Nui, you would think up against Jake Carlisle for a lot of it because Marshall was back into the side, but they looked after him a little bit. He played a lot of time forward and on and off the interchange bench. Thought Carlisle gave a great effort, but Saints won the stoppages, and they're the best team I've seen so far at sharking Nat Nui's hit. A lot of that was Jack Steele, the captain, as we've mentioned, but they lost clearances by 15, the Eagles. Now, you would not have tipped that going in thinking Marshall off no preparation and Carlisle's the backup. So credit to the Saints midfielders for the work they did in there today.
And to make matters worse, Shannon Hearn, calf injury. He was due to break Dean Cox's games record for the Eagles next week, so that might be put on hold for a couple more. To the MCG next, the Giants season. They were up against it. Leon Cameron under all sorts of pressure. They've now won 6 of their last 7 against Collingwood. And Toby Green, the skipper, gets it done.
No, it was Toby Green and this man, Jeremy Finlayson. Big goal on the quarter-time siren. So 9 goals between these two. Finlayson took 4 marks inside 50. He was huge. His best game for the year. But this guy is just a genuine star. So standalone captain today with Cornelio out. He's got captain all over him. And Finlayson even went into the middle of the ground and did this. Now, Quaynor is on Toby Green there. It's a strange matchup for me. Quaynor's had some good jobs this year. He had the job on Jack Martin. Earlier on in the season, he played on Charlie Cameron, but with Toby Green's jumping ability and the record that Maynard's got on him, that was the obvious matchup. And Nathan Buckley just left it far too long before he made a change. And times it was Maynard v Finlayson. They were all at sea with their matchups in the back line, and they just didn't get that right. And Finlayson and Toby Green absolutely made them pay.
Leaves the Pies 1-3 now on the season. Massive game to come against West Coast, and then Anzac Day after that, they butchered it coming out of their back half. Yeah,
they did. Some of these examples where the Giants were just good at putting on pressure and forcing Collingwood into just some horrible skill errors. Like under no pressure, that's missed the target by a good 5 metres. Almost handballing to the umpire there, Quaynor, and forcing your teammate under pressure for another turnover. Now, that's the easiest way to score in footy in 2020 is turn the footy over in your front half. Teams practice it all pre-season and then go back and score when the defence thinks they've won the ball, so they run to get an option. They're all out of position like this, and the turnover from Taranto, that's the way to score. So the Giants were excellent in this area, and it's just a bad loss for Collingwood. When you think of their injury list versus the Giants, the pressure that the Giants are under, now that's deliberate from side bottom. That was the correct call. You can argue about it, but he's under no pressure and he's out a long way. But I was saying just a horrible loss. When you look at the outs for the Giants and the players that they had out, particularly the ones last week with De Boer and also Cornelio and another, they don't have a ruckman either, so we'll get to that in a moment. A terrible loss from the Collingwood football.
Jamie, the only main injury on Collingwood's list. Now, the Giants rested Matt Flynn as well. It paved the way for Shane Mumford to come back in. He's won his last 5 now against Collingwood. We spoke about the bogeyman. He gets it done. He turns 35 in July.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, he's basically on the list to be their ruck coach.
Yep.
Like, he didn't want to play, but that's the truth of it. Now he's been forced to play through injury, and gee, what an effort. Like, what a performance from a 35-year-old who comes in, has 17 possessions, 13 of those contested. He's probably getting paid $80,000 up against Grundy, who's getting $1 million a year over 7 years. We know that. But this is just what he's done over 200 games of football. He's a disruptor. He's hard to play against. You wouldn't want to come up against him. Grundy certainly, he wasn't disgraced in any way around the ground, but Mumford gave a ferocious effort and the Giants won the clearances. So Collingwood's issues in there. Last week, hit outs by 64 and lose the clearances. Tonight again, 35-year-old up against Grundy, lose the clearances. It's a massive issue for them in their midfield.
You might be asking for another contract after this, Shane Mumford. To Ballarat next, the Dogs, they're 4-0. And this trio of key forwards, Kane, pretty irresistible.
Well, they are. I think you probably need 3 key forwards the way that it's been played. We've seen the Eagles, when they win, that works well with Allen, Darling and Kennedy. But how good was Tim English? He just marked everything. 3 goals, 6 shots on goal. His contested marking gets better each and every week. He's a real weapon for them because he can do this and go forward. And Bruce had his moments, although not the 10 goals that he kicked last week. But English can also go behind the ball. And with Stephen Martin coming in, what a recruit that's been. Aaron Norton is just in rare form, albeit 7 shots on goal. And with the wind down there, it was tough conditions. He kicked 2 goals, 5. But dominant performance in the air, 15 contested marks combined for those 3.
English has grown a leg with Stephen Martin back in that team. Now, spoke off the top about the lost line in attack. Charlie Cameron looks like he's just lost a little bit of confidence at the moment, and these are a couple of moments from the game today.
Yeah, he's had a really slow start to the year. I've been disappointed in his intensity. Like, if it's not going for you on the scoreboard, you've got to be giving, as a small forward, that defensive pressure and holding the ball in. And we saw St Kilda turn their season around by doing that today. Here's some of his numbers year on year. He's hot last year. Nearly 12 disposals a game, nearly 3 goals, and the tackle is the one that misses, and also the mark. So I just wonder, Mitch, with Danaher coming in, has he been forced to play higher up the ground? And has Danaher come in, does that mean they're at a loss with what they were producing? Because I thought Charlie Cameron, when he's close to goal, you know he's a nightmare matchup. Get the ball on the ground and he goes to work. Seems to be playing a little bit higher with Danaher in behind, and it really is costing him his form, and that forward line with Hipwood and Danaher and Cameron just hasn't gelled yet.
And those numbers from the first 4 games last year, so almost went at 3 goals when the numbers are normalised due to the shorter quarters. Only kicked the 4 goals in total to start this season. The Dogs' intensity around the contest, we've spoken so much about their ball-winning ability, but they got the job done defensively.
81 tackles today, and I love this from the Western Bulldogs because typically I don't reckon this has been them. I think they've played their best footy indoors at Marvel, flick the ball around, high skill, high possession. This is a change to me. This is a lift in intensity. This is a hungry side. Look at some of the tackle numbers that we had today. Hunter 10. You know, Lockie Hunter's had 10. Treloar 10 tackles. When's the last time Adam Treloar has 10 tackles? Dunkley's always been a strong tackle. And that stuff from McRae, who's a big ball winner, but his intensity, and even little Caleb Daniel doing that, and we'll get another look at that because I reckon that
might be in strife.
Yeah, I think that comes under scrutiny. You can't be doing that. That's a dangerous tackle. Anything around the head and the neck will probably cost him. But the point is, they are hungry at the moment. They start the season 4-0, and they're probably the best team in it right now.
They have to make top 4 now, don't they? After not winning a final after their flag in 2016, they have to be making top 4.
Yeah, I think they're good enough to win it all. I don't think, and we predicted that probably prior to the start of the season with the personnel that they've got and the maturity of some of their players. now that they've backed it up and started 4-0, you need to be making top 4 to win premierships, and they haven't won a final since they won it in 2016. I think they're more than capable of going a long way this year.
Up to Gold Coast next. The Blues, they're all of a sudden 2-2. Pretty scrappy encounter here. Just the 1 goal in the last quarter. You're seeing this free kick here. Jack Silvani hurt his shoulder for the 2nd time in 3 games. Harry Mackay kicked the last goal of the game. Important win for the Blues to get over the line.
Yeah, just one of those ones where you go up there, tick the box, danger game, get the win and come home and focus on Port Adelaide next week. Mackay kicked 2, coming off 7 last week. But, yeah, not a lot of talking points out of it other than it was a scrappy, wet conditions up there and Carlton were good enough to hold on. I'm still a bit up in the air about where Carlton exactly sit.
Yeah.
Not sure they're a finals-bound team from what we've seen in the first 4 weeks.
Michael Christian, the MRO, might be having a look at this incident from the game. Jared Harbrow going past the footy, opting to bump. Michael Gibbons came off, had the concussion test, finished the game on the ground, but he might be in a bit of strife.
Well, he's in trouble, isn't he? The ball's there, could have gone for the ball, elected to bump, got Gibbons high. Now, thankfully, it wasn't the Kelly situation where he was knocked out cold. He went off for the concussion test. But if the ball is there, you don't go for the ball, you opt to bump, and you get your opponent high. I don't like it because I enjoy the footy collisions, and I think that's part of the game. But this year, he'll be in trouble.
And just to sum up the game, Liam Jones, 13 intercepts, so it just shows how haphazard the Suns were going forward. They're 1-3 now. Stewie Dew in his 4th year, a bit of pressure comes on.
Yeah, I mean, when is it going to happen for the Suns? I mean, every year we think, are they going to make the leap to finals? Nothing that we've seen so far would say yes, and their draw's been really soft with the teams that they've played. They've played Adelaide, they've played North, which is their only win. They've played Carlton up there, which if they're going to be serious, they win. And of course, they were reasonably competitive against West Coast in the first round. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be much improvement from the Suns and Stewie Dew, unfortunately, this year.
On to our AAMI clangers for this round 4. Kane, we're loving having this part of the season this year. How about this? Tom Lynch, nice little sponsorship plug here for the Budgies.
The Budgie Smugglers, nice and colourful. A lot of players tend to wear that. Scotty Lyson's gone the bump on Nankervis. The ricochet to Broad, they've both clashed heads. They're really sore, but
and they're saying sorry to each other.
Yeah, Broad and Lyson were good enough to have a bit of a laugh about it.
Tim English today took 5 contested marks. Couldn't get it done on the bench, though.
That's the only thing he missed today. That was the only thing Tim English missed today. He's in rare form. And this from McGovern, straight into the head of Higgins. But what about the response? The follow-up, the pressure, the smother. Nearly knocked him out, but was good enough to get up. So it was a clanger, but Higgins didn't let him put it off his game.
And he bounced back in the second half today. Jack Higgins, back to Friday night's game. This was massive for the Power. They lost the clearances by 12 back in the prelim. They got it done by 12 last night. And how about this, man?
This was just a great game of footy. Tough finals-like footy from both teams who are powerhouses, you think, this year. He's clutch. Robbie Gray, he's done it time and time again. Every possession he had resulted in something positive for his team. And it was just a terrific game of footy, right down to the wire. And he did it at both ends, Robbie Gray. No whinging about that. That is perfectly legal. That is a smart footballer who knows the rules when a lot of defenders don't know what to do and they panic in that situation. He's made the right call. He's won the game for Port Adelaide at both ends.
And it's the right call because it's inside that 9 metres,
absolutely.
Which is the
and under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you wanted to point this out from Aaliyah. He wasn't part of that prelim side, joined the Power this year. Some of his aggressive defending on Jack Reed.
Well, look at how he plays it. Look, if his opponent is irrelevant, he forgets about him. I love his positioning. It's always in front, and it takes a bold and brave defender to do that. But his athleticism. So look at him ignore Revolt here and do the team thing and come in and help his skipper up against a very quick and agile player and save the day at a really important time when they're 1 goal up just before half-time. I thought he was outstanding. Now, when you look at the key forwards that got a hold of Port Adelaide last year, and Lynch and Rewalt were those at times, also Tom Hawkins, they now have Aaliyah to do this. He gave Jack Revolt a lesson, I thought, in the way to defend and the way to win one-on-one contests. That was 2 in a row straight after each other. Loved his positioning, and you probably don't notice it until you look behind the goals. Very aggressive, and what a pick-up he's been. I just thought he was outstanding on Friday night. Still
3 goals for Jack, but you think Aaliyah probably got more the other way for the Power?
Yeah, I think Jack got one of them straight off a turnover from Hamish Hartlett, which Aaliyah couldn't do anything about it, and the other one he got, one of them was a handball over the top in the goal square. So Aaliyah well and truly took the points in that duel.
It did come at a loss, though, for the Power. A couple of key injuries. Lucky this one wasn't more serious for Orazio Fantasia. He hurt his ankle there, but did finish out the game. The 2 we want to focus on, though, Zach Butters Firstly here, he's going to need potentially surgery, going to meet with a surgeon during the week. This ankle syndesmosis did not look great.
No, it didn't. And I thought it was a really brave performance from a young group. Dersma here, this was really late. He was enormous in the last quarter with 9 disposals. You see his knee twist. Now, he will need surgery. Thankfully and luckily, it's not an ACL, but you'd think him going to keep him out for a few weeks. But under duress, you saw Fantasia, you saw Rosie have a massive corky in the first quarter, but stick it out. Ken Hinkley said he had 6 players on the field under the weather during that game. A very mature performance on the big stage from a young side looking to do some big things.
Another injury, this one much more bizarre, back on Thursday night. Isaac Heeney didn't finish the game. He's on a long list of injuries. This off the ball.
Just punched him in the head. I'm not sure why that has not come under any scrutiny with the MRO.
Not even looked
at. Of the reaction, but some would say serves him right, unfortunately for Isaac, but we want to see the best players out there. He started the season so well, and whenever he's been flying, unfortunately throughout his career, he's just had these little things bob up. So 3 to 4 weeks shouldn't halt him too much because he'll be able to run and keep his conditioning up and get him back because Sydney are going really well as well.
Pretty lucky he probably didn't get a fine or even miss games through the MRO though. Kane, these 2 youngsters are going to be watching a lot more to come in years to come. Nick Cox, how about this pick-up for a first-year player in Game 4?
Yeah, I said during the week that he could be the game's next biggest superstar. He's got every attribute that you need, 200 centimetres, kicks it on both feet, versatile. And Justin McInerney was great as well, and Sydney have found another one. Like, we've spoken a lot about Goulden and Campbell and Witts and Warner. Well, this guy was really important as well. Look at the composure and the calmness of Sydney's young players. And
this is game on the line here.
Exactly right. Speed, take on the tackle, and then lace out your big superstar to put them 9 points up late in that game. So I'm not sure it'll be enough to get him a 4th rising star in a row for the team with McInerney, but I think they would go to Cox. And also Lockie Jones was good from Port Adelaide, but they found another one and he'll get the nod at some stage this year.
And he wasn't part of the academy, he came through the normal system. How about the Swans and this 4-0 start for them? We spoke about the Dogs as well. How about this? Kane, the record shows when you start 4-0, you're going a long way in the season.
We don't miss unless you're Essendon. So they were the only team to start 4-0 and not make finals. And look at some of the performances in terms of going deep into finals. So I think the Western Bulldogs and Sydney, 2 sides that we were maybe a little bit unsure about prior to the start of the year, albeit the squad on paper for the Dogs was really strong, starting the season flying and shouldn't miss the finals from here.
AFLW preliminary finals today, Kane. Some awesome results. Dakota Davidson getting the match sealer here for the Lions, booking their place in the finals. Absolutely loved it, Dakota. Probably the best celebrator, I reckon, in AFLW. And now, how about this from Eloise Jones? Soccer in front of the Adelaide Oval faithful. That's not bad.
On the left, if you don't mind. The biggest talking point to come out of the prelim final weekend, though, was Chelsea Randall and this hit, the captain of Adelaide. Look at that attack on the football. So much to admire about that. Both players not taking a backward seat. With the mandatory 12-day concussion rule now, she will miss the grand final next Saturday, which will be at Adelaide Oval, probably in front of 40,000 fans. So heartbreaking for Chelsea, who is the heart and soul of that Adelaide outfit.
Yeah, and she's going to miss the chance to become a triple premiership player for the Crows. So the rest of the rounds in the AFL action, Roos and Crows, both of those sides, well, the Roos need a win, absolutely. Geelong and Melbourne, it's a pretty big game.
50-50 as well. I reckon the last 2 are 50-50. You think Adelaide would be too good for North Melbourne, even without their captain, Rory Sloane, who's got a weird eye injury that will see him miss between 2 and 4 weeks. But the other 2 games, genuine 50-50s.
Sean Burgoyne rested, but he could become the Hawks sub. He is in WA for them. To our one more thing, Kane. Didn't go all the Lions' way today, but this has to be up there with goal of the year, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, unintentional, perhaps. On the right from Danaher, I'm not sure I've ever seen him kick on the right foot, and it's just gone through. So can you give goal of the year to a player who wasn't trying to kick a goal?
On the opposite, outside 50.
I'm not sure you can. You have to be going for goal to get goal of the year, Mitch.
Okay, well, let's see if he makes the top 3 for this week. Now, I asked you about the taggers a few weeks ago. Mark O'Connor, Geelong playing Melbourne tomorrow. Who does he go to, Petrarca or Oliver?
Clayton Oliver.
Not Petrarca?
No, I think he'd have him covered for power in the forward line. So can get under Oliver's skin. I'd like to see him go there. But also, he's been good offensively himself, so hopefully he can still win plenty of the footy.
All right, can't wait for that one tomorrow. Don't forget, we'll see you same time, same place here on The Round So Far next week.